Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's 9 o'clock on a Sunday, which means it's time for a review show special. Now, this is where I take a particular trick, a particular routine, a particular creator, or a particular company, and I do a deep dive into a new trick that they've come out, or a new idea, or a new concept. And today, I'm going to be trying something a little bit different that we've not done before on a review show special. I'm going to be comparing two new tricks, specifically two book tests. We're going to be looking at The End by Angelo Carbone, and we're going to be looking at the Jedi book test. Now, these are two newish routines, two newish tricks that have come out recently, both fairly high-priced items, and on the surface, they both do the same thing. So we're going to look at the pros, we're going to look at the cons, we're going to talk about what's good, what's not so good, and we're going to not really decide which one's best, but we're going to give a rating to each one of them. So if you're looking to put a new book test into your act, then this is absolutely the video that you need to be watching. Now, before we start, if you've been hiding under a rock for the last 50 years and you don't know what a book test is, the idea is very simple. With a book test, it's performed an awful lot by mentalists. It's performed an awful lot by magicians as well, to be honest. But the idea of a book test is you give somebody a book, you have them open the page and look at a word, and you can tell them what the word is. Now, there's been millions of book tests that have come out throughout the years, some of them impromptu, some of them not impromptu, gimmicked books, non-gimmicked books. There's a whole bunch of different options out there. These two books have taken classic ideas and kind of brought them bang up to date. So without further ado, we're going to start off by looking at The End by Angelo Carbone. So the first thing we're going to look at today is Angelo Carbone's The End. And the first thing that I need to tell you about is the packaging for this is amazing. Murphy's, who have brought this out, they've produced this in conjunction with Angelo Carbone, have really pulled out all the stops when it comes to the packaging here. They've made the packaging like a giant book, which is great. And I love how they've done the front from the best-selling creator of the gift, Angelo Carbone, The End. Very, very nice. And as it says here, The End is Angelo's take on the popular principle first used by U.E. Grant and popularized in The Mother of All Book Tests by Ted Karmilovich. Angelo felt asking for the first letter of their word was too suspicious, and guessing a wrong letter could never be seen as a hit. These were two things that Angelo wanted to fix and believes he's solved these issues. Now, with The End, even if you guess the wrong letter in their word, it's still a hit and leads you to everything you need to know. It's very, very true. What if you don't know? First of all, this is the book. Let's talk about the book actually first of all. So this is the book that comes with it, and Angelo spent a lot of time and effort on making this book look legit. It really does. You could read it if you wanted to, and it feels like it's a real book. But it's gimmicked all the way through. Every single page is gimmicked. Now, the Mother of All Book Test that they reference here is a concept that's been around in book tests for a very, very long time. And there is always that problem where you get a miss with a letter. So you say, hey, is the letter that you're thinking of blah? And they say it's not. And you go, oh, what is it? And then they tell you, and then you can proceed to do the thing. What Angelo's done, without giving too much away, is, and the reason the book test is called The End, is because he shifted the letter to the end of the word, and he's done it in a very, very clever way, which means that, as Angelo correctly says, you don't have a miss really, because you're going to get that. You're gonna get a hit. I'm trying to tell you this without giving too much away, but you're going to get a hit. In fact, you know what the best thing for me to do is to play a performance. So I'm going to perform this to Jack. When I've performed it to Jack, I'm going to perform it so you can see exactly what it's meant to look like. And then when I've performed it to Jack, we'll bring it back into the studio and I'll talk about what's going on here. So I got a book here. It's called Tom Pearson.
You read?
I do read a lot, actually, yes. And the book's called The Return of Tomorrow. Life on Repeat is not sweet. It's actually really good. Like really good. I don't know if you've read any of his stuff. This is going to be, hey, it got thrilling from the Richard and Judy Book Club, which just says it all, really, doesn't it? Anyway, we're going to do something. I don't know how many words there are in here, but there are a lot of pages. You've got like 325 pages.
That's a lot of pages.
And there's a lot of words. There's tens of thousands of words throughout this book. What I want you to do is you're going to go back and forth and you're going to settle on one page. You're going to be having a look at that page either side. Tell me when you do that, and when you're done, and don't let me see obviously, so I'll look away. Tell me when you're looking at a page.
Looking at a page?
Cool. I want you to just go through and just find a word basically, but make it a nice big meaty word, something that you can really focus on. Sort of maybe over 5 letters, but it's up to you. And when you've got a word in your mind, remember how to spell it and then close the book up.
Okay.
You got it?
Yep.
Close the book. Wonderful. So I'm going to try and read your mind. I'm going to tell you what the word is. Are you excited?
I am
should
excited.
be. You should be very excited. The mind reading happens right now. So we're going to start off with the first letter. I want you to imagine the word in front of you right here. Can you do that? I want you to imagine that you know, like all those sci-fi films where there's like invisible screens and they can see things displayed on the screens. I want you to imagine there's an invisible screen in front of you and that word is being displayed there. Can you do that for me?
Yep.
Okay. Concentrate on the word. The first letter specifically. Okay, that's interesting. You're not giving me anything, but I can tell, I can see it right there. The first letter's an R, isn't it?
No.
No?
No.
Oh, you know what the problem is? You're looking at the word, I'm looking at you, so I have to reverse it. Okay, that's quite complicated. Okay, let me just reverse what it would be. Right, okay, the last letter is an R.
No.
No. Sorry, no, there's another letter. The second from last letter is an R, is that right? Like the penultimate letter is an R. Yeah, I thought so. It's not that. What's the last letter?
D.
Yeah, but there's an R next to it, isn't there?
There is, yeah.
Okay, so we got. You had me worried there. I thought I was going to. Let me think. Okay, you're gonna have to look at that first letter again. Can you do that for me? That first letter.
I can do it.
Okay, I think I've got it. Is it an S?
It is an S.
Brilliant. Okay. Concentrate on the whole thing. Think of a letter in the middle of the word.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. You went like back and forth between a couple of letters, didn't you? Like between was it a T and an F?
You wish, yeah.
Yeah. Did you end up on the T?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. In fact, this is kind of interesting. It's almost like there's 2 words in one. It's not. It's one word, but it feels like there's 2 words. Does that make sense to you?
You could say that.
Okay, I've got it. Yeah, T and an F. I've not got the best handwriting in the world, but I think I've got this. Now, this would be impossible. Think about this for a minute. You could have thought of any word. You didn't write it down. You could have gone through the book. You could have went back and forth. There were thousands and thousands of options, but you went for one word and one word only. The word I wrote down was straightforward.
The fuck?
How did I do?
That is my word.
Is that your word?
That's my word.
Boom. There you go.
Where the fuck do you know that?
I can read your mind. Okay, so that was a performance to Jack, and as you can see, one of the big benefits of this is that you can literally have them open up the page and look at any word. There is no force at all. Other book tests will have you riffle through and have them say stop, which some people feel can be a little bit contrived. But with this, they can literally take the book themselves, open it up, and they can look at any word. Now, there are a bunch of words that they can think of. And the way that this works is you wouldn't think that you are being forced at all. In reality, you are, but it doesn't feel that way because of how this is set up. Now, the other thing that you get is with this is you get stickers. And these stickers are basically the crib. So there's no memory work here. Now, in the instructions, Angelo tells you how to memorize the words that are being used here, and he goes through a memory system that will allow you to memorize them relatively easily. However, if you don't want to follow that memory system, the stickers that he gives you can be applied onto a Sharpie, and the crib is literally hidden in plain sight. And Angelo's thought of everything. He even supplies left-handed stickers and right-handed stickers, so whether you're left-handed or right-handed and you hold a Sharpie a different way, you'll still be able to see that that crib, which is excellent. And you get a couple of stickers of each one, so you can gimmick up a couple of Sharpies, so that if you lose your Sharpie, it's not too much of a problem. So the memory work is not there at all. Yes, there is a way that you can memorize those words if you want to, but you don't need to. Outside of that, it's a very clever method. As I say, I don't want to give too much away, but by moving that letter to the end of the word, it means that you're going to get a hit. And that's genius. You know, some people might go, oh, that's a small thing. It is a small thing, but it makes a massive difference. I've performed the mother of all book tests many, many times, and it's fantastic. This, I'm telling you right now, is better. This is a much better way of doing it, both presentationally and also from a methodological point of view. This is a much better way of doing it. It really is. Can you repeat this? Technically, you could. You could hand it to somebody else and tell them to think of a word, and they would think of a different word. I don't think that would be too much of a problem. Although I think that this is really a kind of a one-shot and you're done deal. I think this is, hey, here's the book, flick through it, think of a word, and you're going to tell them what the word is. I mean, that's as close to reputation making as you're going to get, really, when you think about this. It's not the sort of thing that you could carry around with you in a close-up job. It's a bit too big to fit into your pocket or something like that. This really is more of a parlor or a stage type trick or a formal close-up show type of routine. This is also the sort of thing that you could very easily use with virtual shows. For people out there that are still doing virtual shows, you could literally just have them think of a word. You could have them say, look, you know, say stop, and hold this up to the screen and have them look at any word, and then you could do the same thing with them. Absolutely fine. In fact, you know, it'd be even easier with doing it virtually, because you could have a crib right on the side of the screen by the side of the the camera, and nobody would ever see a thing. So yeah, I mean, look, it's very easy to do. I've spoken to a couple of people that have this, and they've said, hey, I've gone out and started doing this straight away. This is very, very accessible. You get with it a little booklet that Angelo wrote, almost like a quick start guide that explains how the trick works, so that if you don't want to watch the tutorial, you can quickly read this quick start guide in 5 or 10 minutes, and you've got everything that you need to know to go out and start doing it immediately. However, if you want to, Javier, Fenmeier from Murphy's Magic, has done an incredible job teaching the trick on the tutorial as well. So if you want to watch the tutorial and you want to see some live performances, you can do that as well. And a big shout out to Hav, actually, because he's not a mentalist really. He's more of a magician, and he went out with this book and he went and performed mentalism basically and killed with it. The reactions were great, and it's so nice to see a live performance on the project as well. So yeah, there's live performances on there which look great. There's a tutorial which explains everything, but you can just use the quick start guide if you want to. It's almost self-working, as long as you have the ability to glimpse at the crib. And my eyes are terrible, and yet I was able to do it absolutely not a problem. I'm definitely going to use this 100%. I think that I'm going to memorize the words, but this is something, as I say, I've done mother of all book tests in my show for a long time, and I think this is better than mother of all book tests. So I'm going to give this 99%. I think this is incredible. No, I'm going to give it 100%. I can't think of a way that you could improve this. If you want to do the mother of all book tests, then this is a way to do it. Now, it doesn't have a million different things built into it. What it has that one thing, and that one thing it does really, really well. If you want a book that's got a million other things built into it, you might want to have a look at the next book that we're going to be looking at. Let's have a look at that one right now. Okay, so the next routine that we're going to be looking at, and this is the Jedi book test. Now, I say it's the Jedi book test. It is. However, there's a lot of these that have been bought out recently, and they're all by the same creator. So we've got the Jedi book test, which is all based on Star Wars. It'll all make sense in a bit. You've also got the Godfather book test, which is based on the Godfather books. You've also got the Harry Potter the Harry Potter version, which is based on the Harry Potter books. So there's lots of different versions of this book, and what you actually get, and here's what's interesting, this is almost like a tool. There's more than one thing built into this. There's a few different things built into them. And each one of these books are exactly the same in terms of what they do, but each one is in a different theme. So if you wanted to go to a Harry Potter themed event, you would get the Harry Potter book set, and you'd be able to do kind of magic based around Harry Potter. If you were doing a Star Wars convention, you might want to use this. So this is the Jedi one, but you can get them in a whole bunch of different genres depending on what you want. And there's a load you can actually do with this. Now, before we start off talking about what we can do with it, I just want to say the tutorial is fantastic. So the tutorial has been hosted by Michael O'Brien. Anyone who's watched this channel for any length of time will know that Angelo, he's the previous one. Michael O'Brien's one of my favorite magicians. I love Michael O'Brien. He's also an incredible teacher, and he covers this brilliantly. So Michael does the tutorial. Now, what you actually have here, let's talk about the Jedi book test. What you actually get is you get this, which is a bit confusing because this is not a book about Star Wars. It's The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. This is a gimmicked book, and it's gimmicked in many, many different ways. Now, when you get the book, you also get a PDF, and the PDF, it gives you the download links that you need, or the ISBN numbers that you need to buy 3 specific versions of Star Wars A New Hope, Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back, and Star Wars, the other one, Empire Strikes Back, and I want to say Revenge of the Sith, but it's not, that's the latest one, isn't it? Return of the Jedi, that's it. So you get the ISBN numbers to buy a specific version of Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back, and A New Hope. And if you want to do the whole thing, if you want to present and perform the whole thing, you get those 3 books and you throw this book in there as well. So you've actually got 4 books. And you can do mind reading and you can do book tests with those 3 Star Wars books. Because what we have here is we have systems built into this which will tell you what somebody is looking at in the 3 Star Wars books that you've bought, which is why you have to get the right books, because if you get the wrong books, they're not going to match the information that you get from here. So in other words, you supply those 3 books yourself. Now, if you don't want to go out and buy those 3 books, and I've got them off Amazon, but if you don't want to, you can do a bunch of stuff with just this book. So let's talk about a few different things that you can actually do with it. So first of all, it's got well, actually, I'm going to perform a couple of the different routines from this to Jack. I'm going to perform the flashback principle is built into here, which I'll talk about in a minute, and so is the Pegasus page, which we'll talk about in a bit. So let's have a look at a performance of taking those 2 routines and putting them together. I'll perform this on Jack, and then I'll bring it back into the studio, and we'll talk about what those are and everything else as well. Have you ever watched War of the Worlds? You ever read War of the Worlds?
Not ringing a bell.
No, it's not one of Tom Cruise's best films, and like the book is like a classic. You need to promise me that you're going to read this. You love sci-fi and you haven't read War of the Worlds. That's insane. That's like somebody who's into fantasy not knowing what Lord of the Rings is. Like, it's just insane. We're going to have to fix that. But anyway, I have a couple of things. Now, the first thing I have is I have an envelope. And as it says here, the contents of this envelope is impossible.
Okay.
What is inside this envelope cannot possibly exist. And you'll understand why in a bit, but I'm not going to touch this. I'm going to put it over there. I'm going to start off by showing you something with the book. You can just flip through it. They're all different. If you wanted to read this book, you could do, but it would take you a long time. And I don't think we've got time for you to read the book. So you can just see that everything's...
After the glimpse I had of my Martians emerging from... Sorry.
There you go. You can watch it later. Now, here's what's going to happen. In a second, I'm going to flip through the book and you're going to say stop. Okay. Wherever you say stop, wherever you stop, I want you to look at the first word on the page that you're looking at. Does that make sense?
First word.
Yeah, the first word. So in this case, it would be cylinder. Okay.
Yep.
So I'm gonna look over this way. I'm gonna riffle up to the book, and you're just gonna say stop anytime you want to.
Stop.
Yeah, are you sure?
Yeah.
Can you do me a favour? Can you Can you look at that word?
Got it.
You got it? Cool. Concentrate on the word. It's quite a short word. Think about how many letters there are. There's 4 letters, isn't there? It's quite a short word.
It's 4 letters.
Yeah, the first letter's an O.
It is.
Yeah, you're thinking of the word over.
How do you know?
Well, you just sent it to me in your mind. Let's see if we can do this again. I'll do the same thing again. Maybe it was a fluke. It's not, but maybe it was. So just say stop.
Stop.
Here, are you sure?
Yep.
Okay. Can you see that?
I got it.
Okay. You need to have it clearly in your head. Let's try that again. Just say stop.
Stop.
Okay. Can you look at it?
Yep.
Okay. Really clearly. I want to imagine it. Each letter. Imagine you're in the cinema, and on the cinema screen in front of you is the word that you're thinking of, and it's written in neon. What colour's the neon?
Yellow.
Yellow. That's interesting. That means there's 5 letters. Is that right? Yeah. Whenever it's yellow, it's 5 letters. It's weird, but it's true. Think of a letter in the middle. There's an O. There's an O in the middle. But bang central in the middle is an O. You're thinking of the word above.
How the fuck do you know?
Well, try it one last time. I'll look away. Just say stop and tell me on.
Stop.
There. Are you sure?
Yep.
Can you see that?
Got it.
Okay. Look at me. It's a longer word this time, isn't it?
Much longer.
First letter. B.
Yeah.
Say it over and over again in your head, not out loud because that'd be stupid. Say it over and over again in your head. You're thinking of the word basement.
How the fuck are you doing that?
Is that right?
That is right.
It's kind of weird, really, isn't it?
Kind of weird. It's very weird.
Should we go further? Yeah?
Yeah.
We'll do this one more time, but this time, what I want you to do is, wherever you stop, I want you to look at the right-hand page, and I want you to read the first line. And remember the page number as well, okay?
Do you want to read it out loud? Or?
No, just read it in your head, okay? You can carry on looking at it.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
You're just gonna say stop and tell me on to, okay?
Yeah.
Just say stop.
Stop.
There, are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, so take that, look at the right-hand page, I'll look away, and just look at the first sentence on the right-hand page. Are you looking at it?
Yep.
I'm not going to describe the whole thing to you, but let's see if I can just read it over and over again in your head. And you've got the page number as well, yeah?
Yep, got it.
Okay. Okay, that's really interesting. Something about a thunderstorm? Something about a thunderstorm, is that right? And something about a thunderstorm and something about a shoulder, is that right?
Nothing about a shoulder.
Nothing about a shoulder. No, not a shoulder, but something they're holding. They're holding something. Something about a cat, holding a cat.
Yeah.
Thunderstorm and holding a cat because the cat's scared, want to be holding the cat in a thunderstorm. Is that right?
That is right.
That's crazy. That's crazy, right? That I could possibly know that. But what page number are you looking at, right? What was the page number?
130.
And you could have stopped on any page, right?
Yeah.
What if I told you that you weren't looking at page 113?
What do you mean?
What about if I told you that everything that you just experienced happened in your imagination? What about if I told you it was completely impossible that you looked at page 113 and you looked at a sentence about holding onto a cat in a thunderstorm? What if I told you that that couldn't have happened and that it wasn't reality? Would you believe me?
No, because you can't read in a dream or imagination.
But here's the thing, I told you the contents of this envelope are impossible.
Oh.
Because what I have inside this envelope, my friend, is I have page 113 right here, hiding from the thunderstorm and holding the cat in front of him. And if that is page 113, take the book and flick over, slowly look forward to it. So where is it? Look. So what's that? That's 20, 40, 70, 90, 101, hang on, 111.
What the fuck's
Hang on,
going?
112. Well, you can see there's a rip right there. There is no page 113. And the reason there isn't is because that was never in the book. Take that and look at it. It matches exactly.
It does?
That page was never in that book. So how you possibly saw this on page 113, I've got no idea. Like I said, what's inside this envelope is absolutely impossible.
Already?
Apparently not.
Mike, help.
So what you just saw there is two of the things that you can do with this book. And I'm not even including the Star Wars books in with this, which is what I mean. You can do a whole bunch of things with this. So it's got the flashback principle built into it, which means that if I riffle up and I have somebody look at the word here, I'll immediately know what the word is. But it's very different to the original flashback principle. The original flashback, if you flicked through, you might get an idea of how this works. This is impossible. This has been designed it's still based on the flashback principle, but it's been taken a few steps further, and better, I have to say, and better. But what it'll allow you to do is you can look away, they can say stop, and I'll immediately know exactly what the word is that they're thinking of here. So that's the first thing, and you can do that over and over again. You saw me do that a couple of times with Jack. The other thing that you can do, this has got the Pegasus page built into it. Now, you saw what the Pegasus page is. The idea is that they look at a page, they remember some information off it, you tell them what the information is, and then you reveal that the page was never in the book from the first place, and it was indeed, somewhere else. In this case, I put it in that envelope. Now, that is really cool. And what's nice is this has got the Pegasus page built into it, but it doesn't interfere in anything else that you're doing in the book either. So you can use the book for anything else that you want to, for any other routines that you want to. And when you want to go into that Pegasus page, you can, which I very much appreciated. So that little act that I did for Jack there, that like 5 or 6 minute routine, you could do this walk around over and over again and get killer reactions from it. It's also got a tossed out book built into it, which is the bottom word of the of each page. So basically, the bottom word on each page, there's only 5 words repeated. So what you can do is, if you're a stage performer, you can throw the book out and you can say to somebody, do me a favor, open to any page, either side, and look at the last word on that page. Remember it. Now you can do it to the second person, right? Throw the book to somebody else. You do the same thing, open it up, same to somebody else, same to somebody else. So 5 people are thinking of words, and then you can do the same as you would in a tossed out deck type routine. You can say, right, okay, close your eyes, I'm going to say 5 words. Don't tell me if I'm right or not. These are the 5 words I'm going to say. You then read out the 5 words, and then you can, one at a time, using Wayne Dobson's methodology, tell them if I got it right, sit down, sit down, sit down. Fantastic that this is built into that, because this is great for stage performers. Really, really great that they've built that into there. You wouldn't really be able to do this in a close-up situation, but it's absolutely fine doing it in a stage or a parlor type situation. So if you're a stage performer, you could do that. That's incredible. Then get one person to come up on stage, have them think of a word, tell them what the word is using the flashback principle, and then you can finish off by doing the Pegasus page, and the thing's been predicted from the very beginning. Really great. But if you have those other 3 books with you as well, you can hand those books out at the beginning to 3 other people, and in amongst that sequence, you can do some mind reading using this book and using the books that they've got as well, which is just really, really smart, clever thinking from the creator of this book. So there's a lot built into this. Now, I don't want to say it's a negative. It's not a negative, but the one thing that you need to be aware of is there's not really a routine in here where you're doing what you do with Angelo's book test. So the end, you can literally say, take the book, flick through, look at any word, and I'm going to tell you what the word is, right? There's nothing like that. You're having to flick through the book. You're having to get that. I suppose the tossed out deck is kind of like that, or the tossed out book kind of like that, because you're saying open to any page and look at, but you're still saying look at the last word. You're not saying look at any word in the book. So if you want that moment that you get with the end, where it's like, hey, here's the book, open to any page, look at any word, and you tell them what the word is with basically no fishing, then that's the book you want to go for. That's the end. The advantage of this is something that could very easily be done in a strolling environment. This would fit into your jacket pocket. 100% fit into your jacket pocket. You could pull it out. You could do the flashback thing. You could do the Pegasus page thing. You can get different versions depending on if you're more into Harry Potter or Godfather or Star Wars or whatever. And you can make it as short or as long as you want to. If you want to do Pegasus page and that's it, that's fine. If you want to do the whole thing on stage, it would take probably about 15 to 20 minutes to do an entire act with this, if you take into consideration the tossed out book, if you take into consideration the other Star Wars books that you're using in conjunction with this, the Pegasus page, the flashback principle. So you can literally adapt this to your own needs. I really like this for a sort of a walk around type thing. I like this for a big table type thing. I'm definitely going to do this 100%. I think it's great. I do really like the tossed out book as well. I love the idea of saying, hey, I've got this book, War with Wolves. Do me a favor, take that book, open it up, look at the last page, look at the last word on that page. If you've done that, great, throw it. I just love it. I think it's great. This is getting 100% as well. It's just as good as the end, but it's different, if that makes sense. It's good, but in a different way. And I said at the beginning of this show that we're going to compare the two books. I don't think it's possible to have them go head to head with each other, because each one of them is good in its own way. It just depends what you, as a performer, are wanting to do with your audience. Are you wanting to do something where you literally just give them a book and say, think of a word, and you tell them what the word is and it's done and you move on? Or are you wanting to create more of an act out of the book and do like a ton of stuff and have multiple books, in which case you might want to go for this one? Both of them get 100%. Both of them are really good, but they're both very, very different, and it's up to you to pick the one that's best for your act. So there you go, guys. That's another review show special in the bag. Do me a favor, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Now, you want to see more videos like this, just like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. Don't forget, I'm going to be back again very, very soon with another video. If you haven't already done so, go check out the Q&A from earlier today. And if you want to, don't forget you can go check out the Netrix. That's www.thenetrix.com, www.thenetrix.com. Go check it out, see what all the fuss is about. I will see you again soon. Thank you so much for watching. My name's Craig from Magic TV.